you ignore every year. Problem solved. Your conscience is assuaged. My conscience was never upset by the concept at all. The old gods are somewhat forgiving. So appeal to them this one time. Let that hammer fall and change the world forever.
Stop! Hammer time!
This is the original man machine, Jim Dynamo. When I need a break from defending the Earth from alien invaders, I listen to The Online Movie Show with Phil Hall, Mondays at 7 p.m. Only on pprnradio.net. Download the podcast now. You're listening to Jim Dynamo, the man with the nickel.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. The Constitution contains an oath of office only for the President. For other officials, including the members of Congress, that document specifies only that they shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution. In 1789, the first Congress reworked the requirement into a single 14-word oath. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States. Being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, what I find odd about that particular sentence is that so many people are confused by it. So many people. Some of the people who are confused by that are Barbara Lee, John Lewis, Joaquin Castro, and Lois Frankel. They're your elected representatives who are currently sitting on the floor in the House of Representatives like spoiled children with soiled diapers, pouting, throwing a temper tantrum because the Republicans refuse to cater to their demands to strip you of your rights. Now, what's interesting is we've just read the Congressional Oath of Office. They've sworn to protect and stand by the Constitution, each and every one of them. Barbara Lee, John Lewis, Joaquin Castro, and Lois Frankel, and a host of other idiots. If you've sworn to stand by and defend the Constitution, what the fuck are you doing sitting on the floor of the House of Representatives trying to change it? I'll tell you what you're trying to do, change it. You're trying to violate the safety and the security of the free state. Remember, people, let's step back. Let's examine what they're doing. Not what they're saying, what they're doing. What they're saying is they want gun control for gun safety. Yet, in 50 years, what we have seen is a dramatic decrease in gun violence in this country. A dramatic decrease. More people are killed with hammers than with long rifles. More people are killed with kitchen knives than with pistols. More people are killed with the car in a garage right now than the 93 million legally owned firearms that are in homes across this nation. 48,000 people will be killed by automobiles this year. 50,000 people will be killed by cigarettes this year. 15,000 people will die from the flu this year, and less than 10,000 will die from being shot. Of that 10,000 that are shot, 40% are suicides. So that's a single person gun crime that isn't really a gun crime because most of those guns were legally owned. So what that is a gun death rather than a gun crime. The gun crimes, 85% of them are committed, as we've mentioned before, by a single demographic. Black males, 15 to 35 years of age, approximately 3% of the American population. This population represents exactly 0% of National Rifle Association members. So what you have is a bunch of fools, elected fools. No one conscripted them to serve. They chose to serve. And they chose to serve this nation and you, the American people. By choosing to serve us, they have taken an oath on their own free will to defend the Constitution. Yet here they are trying to shred the Constitution. And no, I know there are 15 of you out there with JDs going, well, the driver's license isn't in the Constitution. That's right, a driver's license isn't in the Constitution. You don't have the right to drive, but you have the right to bear arms to protect the free state. Doesn't say anything about deer hunting, doesn't say anything about duck hunting, it doesn't say anything about single-shot muskets. It says firearms. To protect a free state, the firearm that the people possess should be equal and adequate as a response to whatever firearm a tyrannical government, no longer a free state, is in possession of. So there you got a couple arguments that have already readily dismissed with critical thinking by not accepting doublethink and newspeak. The sentence is very simple. The right shall not be infringed. The right shall not be infringed. If you're going to infringe the second right, why not infringe the first right? And the funny thing is, what makes you think they won't? They're trying to change the Second Amendment because it gives you the right to remove them from power. If it would have said laser pistols, they'd be arguing about the laser pistol because what it means is that is a tool with which to remove them from power. So what you have is a segment of the government trying to undermine the people by eliminating the firewall that has been put there 240 years ago. It wasn't signed till 1789. Yeah, whatever. We know that. Okay? So you could take that and you could tuck that into your JD too. So Barbara Lee of California, John Lewis of Georgia, Joaquin Castro of Texas, Lois Frankel of Florida. I am going to reach out to your respective Attorney Generals, Kamala Harris, Sam Olens, Ken Paxton, and Pam Bondi. And I want these state Attorney Generals to prosecute you all for violating your oath. You're constitutional criminals. You've taken an oath to defend my Constitution, and now what you're trying to do is subvert it. You're trying to shred it. You're trying to parse it as if my rights and the rights of 400 million other Americans are some sort of bartering tool for you, fools, who shouldn't be there in the first place. Plain and simple. We won't even get into it, but we know what I'm talking about. You have no business being there in the first place. You take affirmatively advanced fools and you put them in positions of power, the first thing they're going to do is try and create more power for themselves. And that's what you're seeing now. You're seeing unaccomplished fools who rely on 50 and 60-year-old reputations for actions that may have been just then, but their actions are un-American now. Un-American. Do you hear a hammer and gavel somewhere? You should. And I'll call for a new House of Un-American Activities Commission, and I could name about 50 of them right off the top. Pick your top Democrat congressional leaders, for starters. Pick the entire White House. Each and every one of these individuals who speaks out to change the Second Amendment or to infringe on the Second Amendment is in violation of their oath. If your state representative is one of these individuals, you get on your Twitter, and you get on your Facebook, and you get on your Google, and you contact your state attorney, and you ask them why they have not prosecuted these individuals for violating their oath. Start holding these people up to standards that we have been held up to. You fail a test, you're out. You don't get to take it 7 times, and then you don't get to lecture people about how smart you are after you failed things 7 times. You don't get to take an oath to protect something, and then 2 days later turn around and decide it's not good enough for you. You didn't run for office on the fact that you're going to subvert the rights. You all ran for office with the promise that you would protect rights. They stripped the Second Amendment out of the Constitution. They're going to strip the First Amendment. When you no longer have the right to possess a firearm, you will no longer have the right to free speech. You will no longer have the right to free association. Your children will be forced to wear clothing and behave in customs that are absolutely abhorrent to you and your origins, and you will be powerless to stop it. You're powerless to stop it because you're being fooled by empty rhetoric about gun crimes. If any one of these people wanted to stop gun crimes, they know exactly where to go. Their own constituency. When Democrats stop shooting people, gun crimes in America drop 95%. And then when Democrats stop shooting people, the 5% of Republicans that have to shoot people, they won't have to shoot anybody. Paradise on earth. So it's up to you, Democrats. Stop trying to take away my rights. Police your own community. Americans from every community, if your elected leader is standing against the Constitution in any way, shape, or form, this person has to be removed from office. This person is in violation of their oath. They are a traitor. Don't be frightened by the words. Understand what they mean. You took an oath to stand by the Constitution, and now you're trying to change it? You're trying to infringe on those rights in that Constitution? You violated your oath. You're out. You're done. No second chances. No shoulda, woulda, couldas. John Lewis, you are a criminal. Sam Olens, I call on you to prosecute this man. Joaquin Castro, you are a criminal. Attorney General Ken Paxton, I call on you to prosecute this man. Lois Frankel, you are a criminal. Pam Bondi of Florida, I call on you as Attorney General to prosecute this woman. Barbara Lee of California, you are an anti-American criminal, and I call on Kamala Harris, Attorney General of California, to prosecute you and remove you from office. Americans, start holding people to a standard to which they have promised to stand. We know they're pieces of shit. Stop letting them be pieces of shit. If you don't give the crackhead at the corner store the dollar when you know he's going to use it for crack, stop giving these people power when they're going to use it just like a crackhead to screw you over. Wake up, America. Constitutional criminals, they need to be prosecuted now. Demand it.
You're listening to Bad Machine on the PPRN Radio Network. PPRNradio.net. Generations ago, men built machines to serve man. Who then serves those machines? Now it is man who jumps to respond to every buzzer and bell issued by the same machine that tells you day is night, cats are dogs, and fish need bicycles. Break away from the lies that bind us to the bad machine. Download a dose of radical reality with Jim Dynamo's Bad Machine every Friday at 4 on the PPRN Radio Network. Don't let the machine's elevator bring you down.
In every revolution, there's one man with a vision.
Jim Dynamo. Myths of the Machine is brought to you by our sponsor, Mighty Man Limited. Be a master of the universe when you wear Mighty Man Limited athletic and sportswear, custom-designed athletic compression gear for male and female athletes, compression shirts, sports bras, yoga pants, hoodies, and more. Available only at mightyman.logosoftware.com. Be mighty.